Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. Fine Monday. I'm running a minute or two late. That's okay. We'll start the week off a little slow. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to start your day. And we'll give it a minute here for people to pop on. But I was thinking this morning about tapping, so I think we'll tap. Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome, welcome. Everybody's starting to roll in. But good morning, Nancy. Welcome. I feel like a little bit of tapping would be good just to sort of clear the slates. Hello, Abigail. Glad you're here. So let's just do a round. We'll just breathe as we're doing it, but side of the hand, take a breath in and out. Good morning, Cindy. Inside corner of the eyebrows, in and out. Outside corner of the eyes. We're just clearing the slate. In, out, under the eyes. Got to work around the glasses here. In, out, under the nose. In, out. Good morning, Miss Morgan. Under the chin, or on the chin, under the lip. In, out. Collarbone spot. My favorite spot. In, out. Under the arms, the monkey. In, out, and around the crown of the head. In and out. Just clearing things out, opening up space, ready to receive these words. Again, we're in Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart, and I love this part we're going to do today because it's the part that contains one of my favorite quotes from Anne Lamott. It's page 261. It's called Practicing the Courage to Walk Alongside. And this is one of her major tenets in her, let me back up and find the correct term, cultivating meaningful communication process. So, she said she's basically, we've talked yesterday about the first category. This is the second category, which is the courage to walk alongside. She said, the second major category is practicing the courage to walk alongside. And what I love about this is this little section is going to help us really understand the difference between actually doing what's called for and sliding into what she calls that near enemy behavior. And they look kind of similar, so we need to be well versed in order to do this well. And again, as I always say, don't beat yourself up if you start looking back over your history going, ooh, I missed there, and ooh, I missed there. We all do. We all do. When we know better, we do better, right? When we take good care of ourselves, we do better. When we keep this forefront in our mind, we do better. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. We are working on practicing the courage to walk alongside. One of the greatest challenges in grounded theory, which is her method for, and it's a research method for this kind of things, she says, is naming categories and properties in a way that accurately reflects the data and resonates with people's lived experiences. Because if it's just data-driven and it's not consumable by Joe Blow on the corner, good morning, Janine, welcome, it's not overly useful. It has to be translatable to what your basic human being can understand. For this category, I found myself asking, what does it mean to be other-focused? To use language in the service of connecting, to be compassionate, empathic, and non-judgmental. As soon as I started thinking about this question, I was transported back to my dissertation. The name of the theory that emerged from my dissertation was acompañar, which means to accompany in Spanish. My dissertation is a study of how helping professionals build and maintain connection with the people they serve. The approach that best reflected what I learned from the data was that accompaniment movement, an organizing and social justice approach that comes out of liberation theology activism in Latin America. The word is a commitment to be with people. With being the operative term there. The commitment to being with people. Not pushing them from behind or leading them from the front, but walking with them in solidarity. Okay, so breathe into that. Good morning, Maureen. Welcome to those of you who've hopped on while I was talking. Breathe in, breathe out. Think about walking with people. Think about being on your life journey and someone's path is right beside your path. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Walking with somebody. Again, you're not pushing them from behind. You're not dragging them from the front. You're walking with them. Can you already begin to feel a little uncomfortable? Because it's their pace. It's not going to be your pace. It's their pace. How does that feel? So I'm going to skip a little bit, but here she says, the near enemy of walking alongside is controlling the path. Sounds like a model for healthcare workers. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And how many of us have dealt with healthcare workers who are trying to control our path? Well, here's what you have to do, and here's how you have to do it, and if you fall short, blah, blah. No, not going to work. The near enemy of walking alongside is controlling the path. Sometimes it can look and feel like someone is with us, but really they're trying to control either us or the outcome. I think most of us do this more than we'd like to admit. Absolutely we do. Absolutely we do. And Gwen brought up a circumstance with her friend the other night where she felt like she had done this. We all do. I was laying in bed this morning thinking about this, going, yeah, there it was. Especially if I'm tired. So there's where my self-care piece has to come in. I need to be attentive to where am I at. And it's okay to be honest with somebody. You know, I'm really tired. I'm probably not going to walk with you very well right now. I will do my best. But if I start slipping into here's what you ought to do, raise a finger so I know that I need to. Because it's so second nature for most of us, right? She gives an example here. For example, my child comes home and is upset because they got in trouble at school. They were talking while the teacher was talking and they were told that their behavior was disrespectful. I'm trying to be with them in the experience, but I quickly find myself worried about what the teacher will think of my child and worse, what they will think of me as a parent. So now, rather than being with my child, fabulous, yay Gwen, awesome, that's wonderful. And my guess is the outcome of your apology was it drew you two closer together, feeling heard, feeling connected. Yes? So here she is. She's divided between paying attention to her kid and paying attention to her inner process about what does the teacher think, blah, blah. So now rather than being with my child, I'm trying to control how this is going to go. Forget about asking what happened or checking in to see how they're feeling. I want to be with you in this turns into, you need to email your teacher. Fabulous. Good. You need to email your teacher and apologize right this minute. What were you thinking? Any of us ever slipped into that kind of behavior? And here's my favorite quote. I once heard Anne Lamott say, help is the sunny side of control. Yes, and yikes. All of us who were raised taking care of other people and trying to manage environments can default to wanting to control the path, regardless of our great intentions, especially when it's in everyone's best interest, quote unquote. Yep, there's the hand. Yep, absolutely. The question is always, whose best interest are you protecting? Whose best interest are you protecting? Most of the time, it's our own. We're trying to feel competent. We're trying to feel in control of a situation. We're trying to feel like we're helpful and useful and whatever. Walking alongside is other-focused. Control is self-focused. And she's got in italics here, insert stressed emoji with flat panicked grin. Yes, we all do this. We also see controlling the path in larger cultural contexts. For example, politicians who see people suffering and rather than actually walking alongside them, make people feel like they're understood and they're not alone, while actually leveraging and exploiting their emotion for political gain and influence. I see your struggles and your pain. You don't deserve it. Here's who to blame, and here's how I can help you and make them pay. Does that sound familiar? And the point is, we all tend to slide this way, but it is not effective. It is not healthy. This near enemy is so seductive that it is often as dangerous as the far enemy, which is walking away. So she's also talking about power as another element of walking alongside, and it's not one we talk about often enough. She says, I think it's because we have a weird negative reaction to the word power, even though everyone will tell you that powerlessness is one of the most painful human experiences. So think about that. Think about just that little bit in terms of helping. If you're helping someone and in the process you're kind of taking it over, you're putting them in a powerless position. Basically what you're saying is you're not smart enough, capable enough, whatever, to do this yourself. I'll do it for you. I'll help you. Okay? Is that the message you really want to send? You're not capable. I'll do it for you. Not good. Not good, not good. I also think part of the reason that the word power has gotten so many crappy connotations is the extreme of power that we see, because it's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, is all the negative stuff about power. Power over, power and control, the toxic masculine kind of power that we've all been living under for a significant chunk of time here. Again, if you haven't read The Chalice and the Blade, please do, because she talks in there about, I think her name's Rianne Eisler. She talks in there about prehistory. There were many communities that lived under the blend of divine masculine and divine feminine power and authority, and those words not being swear words at that point, right? Exactly. So we have to be cognizant of our connotations. Good morning, Cheryl, welcome. Around the word power. Power does not have to be a bad thing. Empowered, if we're empowered to act on our own behalf and walk with others, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So here's a definition we can use of power that might be helpful in mitigating some of the connotations that have messed it up. She says, my favorite definition of power comes from Martin Luther King Jr. In a 1968 speech given to striking sanitation workers in Memphis, Reverend King defined power as the ability to achieve purpose and effect change. The ability to achieve purpose and effect change. Now again, think about that. If you're helping somebody, are you messing up their ability to be empowered, to achieve purpose, and to effect change? When you think about it from that perspective, hopefully some new ideas come into your mind about how could I walk beside this person? I agree, Carolyn. Absolutely. It does get easier as you get older, partly because we don't have the energy we used to have, right? So then we'll walk alongside somebody and we can say, I'll support you in your efforts. Let's talk about what your options are. Tell me what you see as your options. Tell me what you see as your pros and cons. Then we might offer, well, have you considered this? Does this fit in here anywhere? But allowing it to be their process, allowing them to walk their path. If you're helping, looks like you picking them up and carrying them down their path, it's no longer their path. It's now become your path. Okay? So, power, the ability to achieve purpose and effect change. Cindy, if you wouldn't mind throwing that in the feed, I think that would be very helpful. And we can attribute it to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, power is the ability to achieve purpose and effect change. The definition does not make the nature of power inherently good or bad, which she says aligns with her work. What makes power dangerous is how it is used. Power over is dangerous because it's using disproportional influence to achieve gain, even when that diminishes the agency or the dignity of others, just like I was saying, right? Now think about that from the perspective of parents. Simply because you're the parent, you already have disproportionate influence. Does that mean that you're going to put everything totally in the hands of your kids? No, no, no. But I want us to be aware of the fact. Teachers, disproportionate influence. Bosses, disproportionate influences. Thank you, Cindy. I greatly appreciate that. The most important piece about this, I think, is our awareness of when we have disproportionate influence. Do I realize that talking to all of you, I have disproportionate influence? Absolutely. Why? Because we're on my Facebook channel, right? So I need to be cognizant of that as I'm saying things. Many of you can go, well, that's just Bonnie's opinion, but there are people who struggle with that. Well, she said this, therefore it must be that way. This is one of the most important things I think we need to teach people is critical thinking. Do I believe what that person has just said to me? Do I only believe some of what that person has said to me? Do I not buy into what that person says to me? Critical thinking, support that. Whenever you see it, support that. It's hard when you're a kid to have an opinion that runs different. When you think something is unfair and the adults who are perpetrating whatever it is don't want to hear your opinion, they just want you to do what they want you to do, that's really difficult. That's really painful for little people. It's also difficult as the parent, the teacher, the boss to hold the space for your people, your kids, your students, your employees. Yes, critical thinking is becoming extinct. Let's resurrect it. Let's bring it back. We need to be able to hold space for people to work their way through their own stuff and to figure out what they believe. I can't tell you how many women later in life, their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, all of a sudden they're getting a divorce or their husband has died or whatever, and they don't even know what their own opinion is. They've so long catered to their spouse that they don't even know where they want to go out to dinner, what they like to eat, what their favorite color is, whatever. It's a slow, long, painful process of discovery. Once I get someone into a place of looking forward to figuring it out, and sometimes, again, I had my little lady from the church who stomped her foot at me and said, just tell us what to do. No, you're capable. I have faith in you that you can figure this out, what to do. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., take the next step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. We want to see the whole staircase and where it goes from there and all the way down the hallway. And yeah, that's not how it goes. Not how it goes. So, again, I want to read that line though. Power over, which includes helping, is dangerous when it's using disproportional influence to achieve gain, even when that diminishes the agency and dignity of others. So let me see here where we want to go. 3 variations of power within the context of social justice and activism. They are equally helpful when we think about walking alongside people. So 3 kinds of power. Power with is based on mutual support, solidarity, collaboration, and recognition, and respect for differences. So that's the divine feminine. Collaborative, cooperative, etc. That's the divine feminine, and we all have it. Men have it, women have it, transgender people have it. We all have power with, where we can collaborate and cooperate if we choose to do so, right? Power to is based on the belief that each individual has the power to make a difference. We can effect change. Everyone can effect change. Good, bad, or indifferent, right? And different people may view that in different ways. I may think it's great how you do that thing. Someone else may think it's horrendous. That's okay, but that's power to. Power within is defined by an ability to recognize differences and respect others, grounded in a strong foundation of self-worth and self-knowledge. That, I think, is a huge piece. When we are grounded and confident and competent and capable, when we've empowered ourselves to be that, when others have empowered us to be that, we have the ability to create much greater space for others to do the same. That's that power within. We're strong within ourselves, so we can allow others to be who they are, fumble along, make mistakes, the whole thing. Okay? Now I want to talk about the far enemy. Again, this one is the identifiable one. We can see this one, literally. The near enemies are more difficult and therefore probably more dangerous, but the far enemy of walking alongside is walking away. The far enemy of walking alongside includes both discounting and dominating behaviors, such as ignoring, dismissing, power over, and building walls. And she puts literally and figuratively, building walls. If you combine the entire column of near enemy and far enemy from this category, you'll get an interesting tool for assessing politics. Again, Maria Shriver, in her first newsletter after the new year, said that she hoped that the two-party system would survive 2025. And my first thought was, I hope it doesn't. Good morning, Angie. Glad you're here. I hope we come up with something better than what's not working. It's not working. It's calcified. It's broken. It's not working. What can we come up with that serves the American people better? Let's see. The combination of control and power over masquerading as connection is especially destructive. Good morning, Rebecca. Glad you're here. So, again, what I'm hoping we're doing here is we're polishing up your radar so that you are able to see in yourself and in others and in me and in every when we're slipping from walking alongside someone to trying to pick them up, pull them along on their path, shove them from behind. It's subtle, though. Those near enemies are subtle. The far enemy, the walking away, the insulting people, all that stuff, that's pretty obvious. We can see it. Although it doesn't necessarily mean everybody is willing to see it. We have a lot of insulting, negativity toward other groups, othering, us versus them. We have a lot of that stuff going on right now politically. Doesn't mean everybody's going to be willing to see it. So, I'd invite us all to see it when it's happening, whether it's the extremes, that the far enemies, that it's more clear, but most definitely with and again, our purpose may have some goodwill behind us. When it's the near enemies, I want to help you. But the way I've been taught to help you disempowers you. It's doing you a disservice in the long run. Let me just give you an example. My mother was notorious for financially bailing my kids out. I would let them struggle. My daughter in particular would call and say, I'm in trouble with this and I owe for that and blah, blah, blah. And it was the result of poor decisions. I don't want to reinforce those poor decisions by bailing her out financially. So I would say to her, you're a smart girl. I know you'll figure this out. And she'd slam the phone down. Well, click the button, because we don't slam phones anymore. We throw them sometimes. Anywho, and 2 or 3 days later, she'd call me back and go, I figured it out. I knew you would. I knew you would. But if my mother heard what was going on, she was right there to bail her out financially. Does a disservice. Was my mother operating from good intentions? Yes. Did it help? No. So there were times where I'd have to say to her, I do not want you bailing her out on this. I want you to let her learn what she needs to learn here, right? So, yeah, we got a whole lot of stuff going down in terms of great grandma and bad mama and all that stuff, but was what it was. Was what it was. And I do feel like my daughter has learned good fiscal responsibility. She manages money way better than most of her friends do. Way better. So, we have these opportunities. We have these opportunities with friends, with coworkers, etc. Within yourself, a huge piece here, within yourself is knowing, how do you know when you're getting on that slippery slope of the near enemy? How do you know? For me, it's a visceral feeling. I feel like someone's grabbing me here and pulling me forward. It's that sense of, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't say this. This is not going to be helpful. I need to hold space. I need to do I bet you're going to figure this out. I bet you're going to figure this out. Let's hold space for you to figure this out. Let me walk with you in your discomfort. I'm going to be uncomfortable walking in this discomfort, but I'll walk with you and we'll see how you figure it out. Again, not at all how most of us were trained, but well worth the practice. So, have an awesome day. Tomorrow we're going to move into some really interesting things on story. The stories we tell ourselves, the stories we tell other people, how those stories influence things, and a couple of pitfalls we can fall into in terms of those stories. So, have an awesome Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.